Hey YouTube, it's L'Oreal or Lo. Everybody calls me Lo. If you are subscribed, thank you. But if you aren't subscribed, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Hey you guys, welcome back to another video. I know my last two videos were about, well, my last two vlogs were, one was me moving to Dallas and the other one was like, you know, my first week and all of that stuff. Update, baby, update. Okay, let me calm down. I've been through it. Okay, so moved to Dallas, got an apartment, got a job, everything, and I'm like, oh, everything is just going so perfect until it wasn't. You know, I'm living in the apartment for like a couple days at this point. And mind you, whenever I first moved in, I will say this, whenever I first moved in, my dryer was not working. But you know, I'm thinking, you know, that's just a maintenance issue. Like, they can replace a dryer. Like, not that big a deal. Red flag. Red flag. So, okay, after that, you know, I went to use my microwave. Microwave wasn't working. At this point, I'm like, what's going on? But, you know, I just put everything on my little inventory list. You know, the little list that they make you do for apartments. I did all of that. And I'm really just making this video to tell y'all to beware. If you can, visit the apartment before you come. Just if you can, just save yourself the headache and just visit and like read as much as you can. I'm gonna get to reviews after, but let me finish. So yeah, I'm living there for a couple days. I have a few problems like maintenance issues, but I'm like, okay, like I put in my service request, maintenance will come. Maintenance took a week, I think a little bit more than a week, to come and even, you know, see about all the issues that I was having. And at this point, I'm gonna put up some videos and stuff like that. Actually, I'm just gonna let the video play right now of my biggest issue that I had. Yeah, y'all, those sounds, originally when I heard them, I was like, is there like a squirrel up there? Like, what is going on? Come to find out, it was not squirrels or birds or anything like that, baby. It was families of rats. Families of rats. And I had started to get suspicious about this. So like, you know, of course I was going up to the front office. Like, at this point I was just irritated, you know. I was going up to the office, like telling them I still need my dryer, I still need somebody to come and look at this microwave because it's like fizzing out and shit like that. Like, this shit could catch on fire. And then on top of that, like, you know, I'm hearing stuff in the walls. I don't really know what it is or whatever. And then at this point, like, I started to smell a strong smell, which mind you, whenever I first moved in, there was a smell. But when I first moved in, I cleaned my whole apartment and like burned candles and stuff like that. So it wasn't as strong to me. I don't know how to explain it. And then I'm going to get to why I didn't really smell it as strongly as I should have in a minute. So, you know, again, back to what I'm telling them, like, you know, there's a smell in the apartment. Like, I know it's not nothing that I have. Like, I don't know what's going on. I went up there saying that, like, you know, they were like, oh, we're going to send somebody to your apartment, like, tomorrow first thing. I kept hearing that. We're going to send somebody first thing to you tomorrow. After so many tomorrows, I'm upset. I'm mad now. Like, I'm angry. I want to fight. I want to fight because I'm being very patient. And that's the thing, y'all. Like, it's not like I was going up there like, oh, y'all need to come to my apartment and da-da-da-da-da. No, I was going up there like, you know, I'm hearing this, not sure what it is, but can somebody come and look, take care of it? I need to wash my clothes. Like, I even was considering, like, if they would have had a washing machine or a dryer in another apartment, I would have walked to the other apartment to wash my clothes. Like, I just needed a dryer. About a week into this, I sent emails to the regional manager, and no response. I'm pissed at this point because I've been patient with the office managers. I've reached out to the regional. I'm not hearing nothing back. Like, I'm still, now at this point, the noises are stronger. And I'm like literally scared in my own apartment. So I go up there this day in particular, and basically they send a maintenance man back into my apartment with me. And when he comes, he is kind of like on the quieter side, you know, whatever. But whenever he came, the community manager also came. This is the first time that I'm seeing the community manager. They have sent a maintenance man to my apartment before and stuff like that. But he, well, let me tell you about him. Whenever he came, this was before I finally got another dryer and stuff like that. So the first maintenance man that they sent, I'm not gonna say his name and all of that, but he basically came or whatever, and he just was supposed to do a walkthrough with me, which I don't need to walk through this apartment. It's only a 1-bedroom. I've already told y'all all of my problems. I don't understand why we're doing a walkthrough, but that's what we did. So he basically like noticed some other stuff that needs to be fixed, and you know, they were supposed to like put in a thing for my dryer, put in a thing for my microwave, and da-da-da-da. Basically nothing happened that day other than the maintenance man telling me. The maintenance man told me, baby, you need to get out of this lease. That's basically what he said. He was like, you know, have you just went ahead and asked them? First it was, did you ask them, you know, did they put you out of this, like, could they put you in another apartment? And I told him I did, but they said no because of a price difference. And when they said no, I was telling him, you know, I didn't understand why it was a no because of a price difference when this issue is y'all's issue. Like, that's like customer service 101. I don't understand. And he ends up basically telling me that, you know, there's rats, and like a lot of them. He was just like, you know, it's not like this is a problem that's like a one-time problem. He was like, you know, this is an ongoing problem. And y'all, like, I went to that office. I went to that office basically saying like, you know, to that office, like, you know, there's rats in the walls and stuff like that. Like, baby, like, I need for y'all to figure something out or whatever. And y'all, I kid you not, the fucking lady that I was talking to in the office tells me, she's like Googling shit at this point. Googling shit like how to keep mice away. This lady tells me to soak cotton balls in peppermint oil and stick them in the vents. I don't think I've ever instantly became as mad as I did in that moment, because there's no, like, I just know y'all are only doing this because y'all think that I'm dumb and young and shit like that, and I don't know. No, baby, this is not okay, and y'all need to fix it. This is unlivable. This constitutes unlivable. Y'all have rodents. Rats carry diseases. It gets worse. So, you know, at this point, I'm like in my car all night, like sleeping by friends. Like, I cannot stay in that apartment or whatever. But I ended up sleeping in the apartment again. So, because at this point, I emailed the regional person again, still no response. I'm still going back and forth with the community manager, which I will say the people in the office were not like rude or anything like that, but they just weren't helpful. They couldn't do anything. Like, the maintenance men weren't exterminators. Like, you know, they can't do anything. And y'all aren't really like eager to help either. So it was just like, I gotta go. I gotta go. Y'all, like, this story, y'all, this is this is making my body hot. So if something is out of order, it's just gonna have to be out of order. But basically, I know I slept in that apartment again, and when I slept in that apartment again, I woke up with bite marks. I woke up with bite marks, y'all. Like, and I was just like, what the is that, you know? And it's so funny because literally the next day I woke up, I saw the bite marks, I went up to that office and I was like, I got bite marks. I don't know if it's bed bugs, I don't know what y'all got going on, but it's something, like something is going on. And I had my suspicions that it wasn't bed bugs because my mattress is brand new. Well, was brand new. And that was like what, my third night sleeping on it. So I'm like, man, like, can't be bed bugs. Like, they got something else in this apartment, like, you know. But I couldn't put my finger on it. But they said at this point, they were saying they were gonna get a exterminator for the next day or whatever, because at this point I was asking to just be let out of the lease. So they sent another maintenance man with me to do another walkthrough, you guys. At this point, I was like telling the maintenance man, I don't know what they sent you for. Literally, like, we were on our way to the apartment and I was like, I don't know why they sending you to my apartment, but you know, it is what it is. Let's do it. So we walking through or whatever. The community manager ended up coming. And she was just like complimenting my curtains and stuff like that, like not really taking it seriously, because she was like, oh, it smells good in here. And I was like, it smells good in here because I've been burning candles and plugins and all of that. Like, I got a diffuser going too. Like, at this point, like, I'm doing anything I can to not deal with the smell. Like, that's how bad it was, y'all. So fast forward, she ends up leaving. And the maintenance man is still in my apartment. So I'm on the phone with my aunt and I'm just telling her, like, I got bite marks on me, like, this is not okay. You know, having a whole little moment on the phone. And then, like, I'm telling her, like, they gotta have bed bugs or something in here because, you know, like, it must have been in the carpet. Like, it couldn't have been in my mattress. Like, my mattress is brand new. Like, and I'm just going on and on and on. And she had to get off the phone because she was at work. So when she gets off the phone, the maintenance man basically asked me, because I asked the community manager before she walked out, like, what's the update on, like, moving me, putting me into another apartment, like, letting me out of the lease? What's the update? So she basically still was beating around the bush. And as far as, like, me letting out of the lease, she said she had to get an approval from the regional person, the one who hadn't been responding to none of my emails. She needed a approval from her. Now that I think about it, she couldn't do anything. She couldn't let me out the lease without the regional person. She couldn't move me into another apartment without the regional person. Like, what is there a community manager in place for if they can't do anything, make decisions? Like, it's not adding up. It's not adding up. So anyways, yeah, so she leaves and the maintenance man heard me on the phone with my aunt and stuff like that. And at this point, he just was like, you know, I heard you talking with her about, like, moving to another apartment and da-da-da. He was like, but you really just need to get out of this lease. So I'm like, okay, like, the other maintenance man was telling me that too. And he was like, yeah, he was like, you know, like, the issues that they have are, like, serious issues. Like, he was like, you know, our previous manager wouldn't even move people into these apartment like the specific building for sure that I was in. He was like, he for sure wouldn't move people into this building because this building has major issues. Like, I'm gonna get to the other major issues that they had. And I was just like, that's really fucked up or whatever. And he just was telling me, like, you know, everybody who works in the office, like, they're, like, new. Like, they've been here less than 3 months new. Like, they're still figuring out stuff and stuff like that. Which is, like, you can kind of tell, you know. And he just was like, you know, telling me that the rats issues was so bad that somebody had let a cat go in the attic of the apartments, like in the top. Let a cat go up there to eat them, try to eat them all. They had gotten in between the walls because I'm on the first floor, but there were like people who stayed in the same building on upper floors that had the same issue that I had. So some kind of way, I don't know how you even let it get that bad, you know, because I understand that rodents and stuff like that, they're gonna try, you know, but it's just like, how did it get to this point? Y'all didn't give a fuck. That's what that is. Y'all didn't give a fuck, and now y'all still trying to move people into these apartments. So, but let me get back to the bite marks. So the man is about to walk outside of my apartment. He was like, you know, and also I'm gonna go ahead and let you know that it's not bed bugs. So I'm looking at him, he looking at me, and I'm like, so what is it? Because I got bite marks on me. Like, I had bite marks along my stomach, I had some on my back, I had like some right here, I had them like under my arm, you know, all in like this area, like this general middle part of my body, you know. And that's another reason why I didn't think it was bed bugs, because bed bugs apparently, because I was on Google, Google knows everything, apparently bite you like along the top of your body, you know, like. So I was just so confused. That's basically what I'm trying to say. I was so confused, didn't know what was going on. It was mites. The people had a mites problem. And he was like looking at my carpet, and he was like, and they didn't replace this carpet when you moved in either. And I just was like, I gotta go. I gotta go. They got mites. Like, bugs, y'all. Like, I cannot, rodents, bugs, anything. I was just like, I have to fucking go. I don't even want to stay in none of these buildings, you know? Like, at that point, because, again, I was trying to be lenient with them and be like, just move me to another building that doesn't have these issues. That was like pulling hair and teeth. End of the world to them. So at this point, I'm like, you know, y'all got mites too? And the man told me that he was like, every building has an issue. May not be the same issue, but every building has a serious issue. So you might as well just try to get out this lease. I'm emailing because like I was told like you have to get stuff in writing and stuff like that. So I'm emailing or whatever, thinking that that's working. Ciao. I ended up reaching out to these people called Legal Shield. I talked to a lawyer and everything. That man was like, baby, let me not get ahead of myself. It's mites. So at this point, I go back up to the office and I'm basically telling the community manager, you know, there's mites. I just want to be let out the lease. So in so many words, she tells me that the regional person is going to be there tomorrow and that she's the one that can make the decision. So I'm like, okay, bet, I'm going to be here, you know? So I go and I'm waiting to talk to the lady or whatever, Debbie, the one who has not responded to my email. She did not respond to my emails until I sent a lease termination email. That's when she responded and said, we will get back to you. Never got back to me. In there, like, okay, let's see how she's talking in person. So she finally comes out of the office and she's just like really rude, like, hi, what can I help you with? And I'm like, well, my name is L'Oreal. My name is L'Oreal. I've been emailing you. I know that the community manager has been emailing you. Like, what, you know, what's your decision? Basically, I asked her, what's your decision? Because I just wanted to know, were they going to let me out with no penalties? Yes or no? And she basically was like, beating around the bush with that. She was like, well, we can move you into a different apartment and stuff like that. Like, we offered a different apartment, which, y'all, they did offer me a different apartment when I went up there with my locator the first time. So my locator came up there with me and, you know, basically we're talking and stuff like that, and she's basically saying like, you know, the apartment is unlivable. It's just unlivable. And the lady is basically like, well, we don't have any other apartments for her to even move into, and and then all of a sudden she finds one for me to be able to move into. So we're like, let us see the apartment. This lady is like, okay. So we walking, you know, and the whole time in my head, I'm like, I'm not staying here, I'm not staying here, I'm not staying here, I'm not staying here. But you gotta play the game. So we going, and I'm asking the little boy that they got pregnant. Well, not little boy, but you know, it was like his first day. So I'm asking him, you know, what, do you even have a key to get in? And he was like, oh, she didn't tell me to bring y'all in. She just told me to bring y'all to the apartment. I was like, so we can't go inside? He was like, no. He was like, I know you can't go inside because this apartment isn't ready. This lady was trying to show me this apartment for me to move in tomorrow, and it's not even ready. What? So we go back, and I'm like, that apartment wasn't even ready. She was like, well, yeah, like we can have it ready tomorrow, and I have to ask Debbie about, like, you know, moving to it because it is $200 more, and I'm like, yeah, I don't care. I don't care, because I'm not staying here either way the cut goes. So do what you gotta do. So about like 7-ish o'clock, mind you, I ain't never got a response from Debbie like this. Debbie emails her to email me that she approved me being moved to this other apartment, and the community manager, basically asked me to accept it that night so that they can have it ready tomorrow. What? You want me to sign a lease? And I haven't even seen the apartment, and they got rats and mites in the other one? Is that even like acceptable? That is unacceptable. At this point, you know, I'm over it. So back to me speaking to Debbie. So speaking to Debbie, and she's like, you know, well, we did offer to move you into another apartment, and and then like she like basically yells at me and tells me that the apartment that I'm in is livable. And at that point, I was like, oh, baby, she don't know who she talking to. She don't know who she talking to. And I was like, I'm really not about to argue with you. I was like, I just want to know, are y'all going to let me out the lease with no penalties or not? And then she was like, well, we're not going to let you out the lease because we are making accommodations and da-da-da-da-da. I was like, okay, that's all I wanted to know. I was like, I know what I could do legally. So it is what it is. And y'all, like, I don't know where that talk came out of me from, because baby, I didn't know what I could do legally. I just knew I needed to get out of that lease. So I talk to my locator, and she's like, no, you need to go back in there and talk to somebody else and record it and basically tell them, you know, if they do not let you out of the lease, then you're gonna go to the media and you're gonna blast it everywhere and da-da-da-da. And that's what I did. And I'll play that recording for y'all now. Well, I guess I can speak to you too. I wanted to speak to her. And I guess you can relay this message to Ms. Okay. But you know, I've been really patient with you guys, and at this point, I just want to be released from my lease. Like the rats and mites issue, she just said like the apartment is livable and that it doesn't have mites. But just yesterday when I spoke to Catherine, she said that the pest control person said that it was mites. So I don't know why there's confusion for that. And then the rats problem and stuff like that, that's already been confirmed for not just my building, but other buildings too. So yeah, like the agent that sent me here, she's on the phone with a real estate attorney right now. So I just want to let y'all know that if I am not released from this lease with no penalties, then I am going to blast this everywhere.
Can you go ahead and put that in writing to our email? That you
I can.
From your lease and...
Yes, I can. But the thing is, I've already sent it. Well, before I even, you know...
I originally thought you were coming to look at another unit today.
Well, that's the thing. When I first started having problems, I did ask, you know, can I be moved to another unit? Mm-hmm. And I was told that I can't be. I wasn't told about another unit until literally yesterday, as I'm saying, like, I want to be out of the lease. Mm-hmm. And then with that unit, we went over there, I thought, to tour it, and we couldn't even go into the unit. So why would I sign for a unit that I can't even look at?
It wasn't open, or
were they
working in there? Or?
I don't know. Okay. But I just know that the guy, I don't remember his name, that walked us over there was like, he couldn't bring us into the unit.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. And that was what we were just speaking about too, because she was like, well, we did offer you another unit. And I was like, yeah, I've already emailed you 3 times before you even responded. And then you offered another unit, but I couldn't even see the unit. Yeah. So after that, you know, it was like another day or two, and I was like, let me go ahead and reach out to a legal person or something. My sister-in-law actually told me about something called Legal Shield, and it's basically like you pay a subscription. This sounds so sponsored. You pay a subscription and you, like, you know, tell them your issue or whatever, and then like within a couple days, like a lawyer in your area calls you and basically gives you legal advice. That's basically what it is. Now, I don't know what all you can get with it, but I know there's certain things that you can get with it, like you can get them to send a letter on your behalf and stuff like that, which is what I was looking for. I was looking for that letter. So I call the man, I basically tell him all my issues, and he's just like, baby. That man was like, these apartment complexes is dirty. That's basically what he said. And he was like, you know, he was like, you didn't really do anything wrong, but those emails don't count for anything if you were to go to court. Because he was like, you know, they can say that they never received them. There's no way for you to prove that they received the email. So you have to send a letter, certified return request, or hand it in person and get them to sign whatever, you know, but it had to be an actual letter. Frustrated at this point because I've already sent like 3-4 emails. And on top of that, he was like, you know, and when you send a letter, you have to wait 7 days for them to like have time to accommodate the issues. And I just was like, man, because at this point I wanted to be in another apartment by Christmas. Like, that was my thing. Like, I just wanted to be comfortable. Because y'all, like, I literally, like, this is what I was doing. I was staying by my friend, and I was literally, you know, in the daytime I would get up, fuss with them. I haven't started work yet. Well, I started work now, but I hadn't started work yet, so I didn't have work to go to. So I was like, everything was going into this apartment situation. So I would wake up, go fuss with them, look at other apartments, go back to the apartment. If I needed clothes, I would need to wash clothes, because mind you, I don't know what mites have gotten into at this point. The mites could be in all of my shit. So I'm literally like, I have to wash everything. I had to wash everything. And it was just like, it was a lot. I contemplated moving back to Louisiana. I cried in my car multiple times. Like, it was tough, but we got through it. You guys, like, I ended up finding another apartment. But that apartment complex was dirty. So I sent the email, I sent the letter or whatever, and like, my locator is like trying to get Hugh to send verifications to different apartments and stuff like that, and it was just a lot of back and forth. And at that point I was tired of arguing, so I stopped going to their office to argue. And then I was dead set on this one apartment complex, and they played with me like up until the last second. Up until December 23rd, they had played with me for that whole like week. Knowing that I wanted to be moved in before Christmas, I was very honest with them about everything that I had going on. And, you know, they were like, you know, like, we can help, like, you know, we can get you in. And it just frustrated me so much because I really felt discriminated against. And that's a whole, well, I'm going to just get into it because this is the update, y'all. So this apartment complex, like, you know, I go in there and I tell them everything that's going on, which I probably shouldn't have, you know, but I'm a very honest person. Like, it is what it is. So, you know, I'm like, I need to be moved in by this time. Like, can y'all do it? And they're like, yes, we can do it. I pay my deposit just so we can get the ball rolling, because I'm trying to move. Like, I'm trying to move. So we going through all that, and one day, one of the workers there basically tells me, you know, like, we're gonna have to see about whether or not you can move in before you start your job. can't move in before I start my job. I can't live here, because where am I gonna live until I start my job? I'm not about to sleep. Not about to keep sleeping by who I've been sleeping by. Like, so can you do it or can you not? And they were just like, oh yes, like, no, it's gonna be fine. We're talking to our managers, you know, we're gonna work with you and da 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 da. And I'm just like, okay. My locator, the same way. Another lady from Louisiana, she was on them too, because they had asked me, like, for my bank statements. They asked me, I sent my offer letter for my job. This girl emails me like, can you send me the original offer letter? I'm confused. I'm like, do you mean the offer letter without my signature? Because that's the only original that I can send. I don't know what she's talking about. So after going back and forth for a minute, I'm like, I really don't know what you mean by original offer letter. And then she was like, you don't have like a paper copy? And I was like, no, like this was done via email. Like I moved from out of state, which they knew. They knew I moved from out of state. So I don't understand why we were acting slow. My locator basically calls them because y'all didn't ask me for original offer letters. And then on top of that, they were asking for more stuff from my freelance stuff. And then y'all asked me for my bank statements, and it's just like, am I approved or not? Like, y'all see what type of person I am. Y'all see my history. Like, at this point, y'all done see my bank statements and stuff like that. Am I approved or not? And my locator called too. Like, by the time I sent those bank statements and stuff like that, she called, like, you know, is she approved or not? And they were like, oh, we're still waiting on the verification. And she was like, okay, but once y'all get the verifications from the other apartments, is she approved or not? And the lady said, oh yeah, she'll be fine. So y'all, I go sit at this apartment complex that I hate. I watched them send the verification. I'm like, okay, like I should get a call either today or tomorrow from the other apartment. Y'all, that lady called me within like 10 minutes. That lady from the other apartment called me in like 10 minutes. And basically tells me, you know, well, we got everything, but you wouldn't be able to move in here until you start work. I think I was just on that phone, like heart dropped, like couldn't believe it, because like y'all just wasted like a whole week of my time. I could have been looking at other apartments. So I'm just like, I'm on the phone and I'm like, that's not gonna work. And then she was like, I understand, like you can come back and get your deposit and da da da. Is there anything I can do to help? I was like, no, I'm gonna come back and get my deposit. So then I go and get my deposit and I'm about to walk out, and the lady stops me and just is like, you know, basically asking again, is there anything that I need? And I'm like, not really. I said, I'm really just frustrated because I told y'all everything that I had going on from the beginning, and y'all acted like y'all could work with it, and now it's y'all can't move me in until after I start work. I don't understand how y'all would think that that would be okay for me to move in after I start work. And she basically just was like, you know, it's just something that they do and da 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 da. Girl, get the fuck out my face. The next, like, I cried in my car. And the next day, I got up. I went to another apartment complex that my locator found that told her that they had apartments. They didn't have any. When I walked in the door, the lady literally is telling me, oh, we don't have any that would be available until, like, I think she said like 5-6 days later or something like that, which isn't terribly bad, but y'all don't understand. I was trying to move like quick. So I'm asking her, like, okay, so if it's going to be available for me to see, when would it be available for me to move in and da da da, because I got to move in before this certain time, like I got to get my life together, all kind of stuff like that, you know. And like it wasn't working out, and then they didn't really have anything within my budget either. So I just was like, yeah, I'm just gonna catch y'all on the flip side or whatever. And the only one that they had in my budget is the one that I wouldn't be able to see until I moved in. No ma'am. Call the locator. I cry in my car. Call my locator and I'm like, you know, they didn't have anything. Like, I'm just gonna go through this other list that somebody sent me and see how it goes, y'all. And that whole day I basically was driving around looking at stuff. Some stuff was like way expensive, some stuff was like way too not where I feel comfortable living. And some kind of way I ended up setting an appointment for the place that I live now. Then I called them and I'm like, yeah, do y'all have anything available for this price range that would be available to move in before this time? And and they were like, yeah. And then they were like, you know, would you like to come in and tour and stuff like that? I was like, yes. And I was like, well, I know that it's the 23rd and it's kind of late. It was like 4 o'clock on the 23rd. And they were like, well, no, like you could come in and tour today if you want. I was like, okay, like I'll be there. And I told them my name and they were like, oh, we already had you down for 3:30. And I was like, oh, really? God be working. Going stuff like that, y'all. This girl gets me into this apartment the next day. The next day. I could have moved in that day. That's the crazy part. Could have moved in that day. But I told her, you know, I'm not technically gonna move in until tomorrow, so let's just, you know, do it for tomorrow. And then too, you know, they prorate your rent. So yeah, just put me for tomorrow, when I can get my life together. And that's basically what happened, y'all. Like, I moved the next day. Like, my locator helped me. I'm so thankful for her. My cousin helped me too, so thankful for him. And now I'm in a much better environment and stuff like that. But if y'all were wondering like why all of a sudden I had went ghost, it's because I literally was like having a mental breakdown every day. Every day. And that apartment complex is dirty. I'm gonna have it down in the description box, just so if y'all want to avoid it, y'all can avoid it too. In the description box, been like, there's a reason. Y'all can DM me. Y'all can DM me just so y'all know what apartment to avoid. But to finish the story, once I did get into this apartment, you know, I was just like, you know, if they try to put this stuff on my credit, I'm just gonna send them the letter from the lawyer, because like I said, it has to wait 7 days. And then after that, the lawyer said, you know, if they haven't responded or anything, he'll send them a letter basically threatening them to let me out of the lease. So you know, that was just my plan. I was like, you know, and if that doesn't work, then whenever it tries to come on my credit, I'm just gonna fight it. I had filed a report with like the home, is it code compliance or something like that. I was gonna try to use all of that to like get it disputed off of my credit if they did try. But we went back, you know, and we just basically waited, and you know, the regional person happened to be there. And we walked through the apartment. At this point, everything was moved out. Y'all, it smelled so bad. I think a couple of the rats had to have died in the wall. It smelled so bad. Like, it was so bad. So bad. And then it also smelled like pee, and it was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. So I'm telling my locator, you know, that's the regional person that told me that it's livable. I think that's her, you know. And she was like, oh, well, we need her to come and tour, because they sent one of the assistants to come and tour the apartment with us, to walk through whatever, to see the smell and stuff like that. But we're like, no, we want her to come and walk through with us, you know. So she basically never comes out, but the community manager does. And she basically is telling us, you know, they're not going to be able to walk through or whatever. Well, really, the assistant told us that she wasn't going to be able to walk through. But then we tell her that's unacceptable. So the community manager comes out and is like, you know, she really doesn't have time to like come and walk through because they're in and out of meetings right now. So basically, and I'm gonna tell y'all why they was in and out of meetings, but basically, you know, she tells us that, and we're just like, well, there needs to be something done. My locator threatens to go to media again and stuff like that. Y'all, I don't know what change of heart this lady had, but next thing I know, she walks out with a paper basically saying, I'm released with no penalties, sign here. And I was just like, whew, thank fucking God. Like, Y'all don't understand. Y'all don't understand how happy I was. So yeah, I'm just saying all of this to say, you know, be careful whenever you move out here. Like, I know that you cannot like know everything about an apartment, because I toured that apartment, you know. If you can, tour your actual apartment. Don't tour the model. Try to see your actual apartment, what location it's going to be in too, because I'm a single lady. I want to feel safe. I did not feel safe at that apartment. And it's not even that it wasn't gated and stuff like that, because it was gated. It was just like, you know, the gate was broken until I said something about it. Then all of a sudden they got it fixed. But besides the point, don't get fooled by these apartment complexes that make everything look nice, because it ain't all nice, baby. But that's pretty much it. That's my update on Dallas. Now I am happy. I'm in my own apartment again, a new apartment. I got my couch and everything, and I'm gonna do an apartment tour once I get everything settled, y'all. It's probably gonna be a few months, if I'm being completely honest. I'm not about to show y'all, like, because I have pretty much everything that you need for an apartment, but it's just little things that I want before I would show my apartment, if I ever do show it. But yeah, y'all, that's my update. I started work, love it. They are just like the sweetest, and I'm finally able to get back to making content, and I'm just really in such a happier space. So like, you know, I knew that it was going to be something moving out here to Dallas intuitively, you know, but that doesn't mean that something isn't for you. That just means that, you know, you've been asking for this for so long. Can you handle if something goes on? And we did it. We did it. So yeah. I know I just talked y'all ears off, but I had to give y'all an update. Avoid these sleazy apartments at all costs. So yeah, thank y'all for watching. I know I said it in the intro, but I'm going to say it again in the outro. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload. And I will see you guys in my next one. Peace.